This weekend is trying to give you something about an experience of what psychoanalysis is, a feeling for it, to share with you something of our experience of what psychoanalysis is all about. So that's why we're calling it Face to Face with Psychoanalysis. There are actually 16 members of our small society who are going to be with you over this weekend. We can't tell you what it's like in the consulting room. You have to be there to experience it for yourselves. But there's something about privacy and confidentiality, of course, which is essential. There's also something about a dialogue between a patient and an analyst. And the best we can do is to give you some sort of an experience here of what it might be like as we talk with you.
The unconscious is repressed to some extent, and it's full of mysteries, and it's a way of revealing ourselves. Even when I'm speaking to you now, I'm revealing something of my own personality, however well analysed I think I've been. Okay, you'll pick up some sorts of nuances in the way I speak that communicate something of, aspects of my own unconscious. Aspects of ourselves that we push to the back of our minds and eventually become unconscious are experiences and things from our early life that influence our lives in the present. And that was Freud's profound discovery, that we are all motivated and driven by very early experiences that we've forgotten about, and in a way drive us all to enact certain things in life towards one another. Okay, The couch is a very interesting phenomenon. Okay, it's very different, I think, from other forms of therapy. And what does the couch represent? I think I will say to patients, what do I want to lie down there for? What do I want to lie in your bed for? It's because I think it's about lying down in the unconscious. Facial, seeing each other face to face sort of work. That I have to keep a certain expression on my face when I'm talking to you, because I think facial sort of communication is enormously important. When you use the couch, it does allow oneself, I think, to get much more in touch with the unconscious. It's what I call lying down in one's feelings, lying down in one's emotions, and worrying less about physical reassurance and whether one's smiling in that way that the therapist is supposed to smile, and do all that stuff, which I think you are then liberated from, and enables you to really listen to what the people, analyzans or patients, whatever we want to call them, clients, are saying. Okay? And it's gradually in this space, if you listen to the patient's communications, that things begin to emerge. Because I think a lot of us go to analysis to find the truth, not the truth, there isn't one, okay? To find the truth to help us manage, I think, the uncertainty all of us have to bear in life, which I think is very, very disturbing. But I think there is meaning that you can find with another human being. And analysis is one of those places you can do it. It's not the only place. But it's the best place I've found after working in various modalities in my history in the NHS and things. It's the only modality I've seen that allows for a space between two people where truth can emerge. And that is a profound experience, I think, that hope I've shared with you tonight, and we can talk about it later. Okay, thanks.
As someone who's come from not a psychoanalytic background, what you're talking about is theory, as so far as I understand it. But I wondered how you can justify it alongside or within science. I was interested. You talked about how we have to come to terms with not being immortal. But for many thousands of years, one would go to see their priest, and that would be predicated on the idea that perhaps there was an immortal realm. So, yes.
Although Freud said it's an illusion.
Okay.
I think what's happening at the moment in the neurotransmitter sort of world, the neurological world, and all that sort of stuff, is that people begin to find more and more than what Freud said is actually right. Unfortunately, the science, the proof, is taking a while to catch up with the theory. And we have to carry on working, as it were. But I think there's an awful lot of work by somebody called Mark Soames and people like that who work with the neurotransmitter sort of world that actually they're beginning to demonstrate that a lot of his ideas do have a scientific basis.
Thank you very much.
But yeah, Congratulations.